What's up with the squad? Back with another video. I seen the title was going down. Make sure to like, but subscribe one for me, please. Y'all see it in the title. And I'm definitely geek. I feel like I haven't really heard JD Vance. Really, I've seen him. I've heard him and seen him talk. I think at one. I think I only seen one video. But definitely wanna see how this is gonna take place. And y'all see him? Look like he at the border.
Yeah, he at the border. Vice President Harris has contended that you and former President Trump, had tanked the bipartisan border deal that would have provided a lot more funding to support the border. What is your response to that?
Well, look, the bipartisan border deal was actually a massive giveaway to illegal immigrants. It would not have solved any of the problems that Kamala Harris has caused. I mean, they came into the administration, they promised from day one that they would suspend deportations, that they would reinstate catch and release, that they would end remain in Mexico. They implemented these policies, and it had the intended effect of opening up the southern border. What happened is that Kamala Harris, who was the border czar, decided that this was not good politically, and so they tried to implement some new law that actually wouldn't have solved the underlying problem. They have the tools necessary. They just need to empower Border Patrol to tell people who want to come in illegally, you're not allowed to do that. They just need to use the authority that the border czar Kamala Harris has.
I want to ask you about the former president's comments yesterday to the National Association of Black Journalists, where he said,
"Oh, here we
Vice
go."
President Harris is, quote, all of a sudden.
And I do apologize, like if y'all can't hear that well. I can only hear it in one headphone. For some reason, I don't know why, but it's something with this channel. But
where he said
they're bringing it up to conference.
President Harris is, quote, all of a sudden black. As a father of 3 biracial children, did those comments give you pause at all?
They don't give me.
I feel like they did. I feel like, and I've seen pictures. I was wondering if those were his kids or not. I haven't, did too much information on JD Vance. I am after today, but the news always pushes and tries to try people. I'm about to see. I got to see how his response is, y'all.
3 biracial children. Did those comments give you pause at all?
They don't give me pause at all. Look, all he said is that Kamala Harris is a chameleon. She goes to Georgia 2 days ago. She was raised in Canada. She puts on a fake Southern accent.
Yep.
She is everything to everybody, and she pretends to be somebody different depending on which audience she's in front of. I think it's totally reasonable for the president to call that out, and that's all he did. I mean, look, she's running as a tough on crime.
But I feel like, again, this is what people fail to realize. And I'm going to be real with y'all. When I watched that video, if y'all go back and watch that video, I want y'all to go back and watch this video. And I know JD Vance knows this, but I want to say this. He did call it out, but he didn't. He didn't have to. He didn't have to say anything. But though that was a question that Rachel asked him. She went straight forward and attacked him with it. It wasn't like it was, I sat there and watched it. Very respectful. Trump was very respectful, and they just don't like the way that he answered things. They don't like the way that he's straightforward, that he's real, because that's what he is. He gonna say what's on his mind. He gonna say the real. He gonna give you the real. Nothing fake. And I feel like that's what people are getting it, messed up at, because, a lot of people has been saying that, Trump, he just went on and said that she's a chameleon and she's black. The reporter sat there and asked him, didn't even acknowledge, thanks for coming. You take that 2-3 minutes to actually thank him for coming, especially that Kamala didn't come. Come on, y'all. Back in the video.
And that's all he did. I mean, look, she's running as a tough on crime prosecutor, even though she implemented open border policies. She's saying that she wants to support the police, yet she wanted to defund the police just 3 years ago. It's totally reasonable to call out the fact that she pretends to be somebody different depending on the audience she's talking to.
You used that word chameleon yesterday as well. You're someone who was an unabashed critic of the former president previously. Now you're his running mate. You're someone who has text messages out there now that say, I hate the police. Now yesterday you said, I back the blue. By your own standard, are you a chameleon?
Look, I criticized Donald Trump 10 years ago, and we've talked about it, and I've made a good argument to the American.
Listen, I'm going to be real with y'all. I'm going to say this before JD Vance say this. They try to push the simple fact of oh, years ago, you didn't like Trump. You said this about Trump. But now you're the running mate and you love Trump and you this and you that, you that. Listen, y'all. I have a father and a mother, a grandmother, a brother that are all Democrats. They'll say it. My dad is actually making a channel, of him speaking on different. When I think it's cool, and I think some people that, oh yeah, I think it's cool because I love to hear with what another person has to say. No matter you liberal, you conservative, I don't care. Independent. I would love to see what you have to say. And I look at the fact that years ago, even doing music and stuff like that, it was always in my head that Trump wasn't, I in a sense in my head, I ain't gonna say that I didn't like him because I didn't know anything about him, but I wasn't a fan of him, and I wasn't, and this is me being real talking to y'all. And it was more so of, being around my family, seeing them talk about him. And, they put out these, different things. And, yeah, he's the R word. And look at this video. And look at this. And look at this, and getting that, around me. And I really wasn't into it, like that. But it was just little things that, my family members would say. But then as of last year, and I started to notice, different things about Trump and knowing, how he is and hearing him speak. What's wrong with that? So when people do stuff like this reporter is doing now, I find it very childish and not understanding, because we do have until we, I ain't gonna say understand because I don't know JD Vance's stand, 10 years ago or 5 years ago, a year ago, but it's just a simple fact of, knowing what's real. It's okay. That's, y'all see how I put it,
Look, I criticized Donald Trump 10 years ago, and we've talked about it, and I've made a good argument to the American people about why I think he was a great president and why I think he deserves re-election. That's different than going to Georgia 2 days ago and putting on a fake Southern accent when we were raised in Canada. So I think it's totally reasonable to change your mind. Has Kamala Harris stood for a tough debate with you and explained why she wanted to ban fracking and now she doesn't, or why she wanted to defund the police and now she doesn't, or why she wanted to open the border but now she doesn't? It's reasonable to change your mind. It's not reasonable to run and hide from the media and not answer the American people's questions.
He was also asked yesterday if you were ready to be president on day one. He kind of dodged the question. What do you still have to do as his running mate to prove to him that you are ready to step into that role?
Well, I think Donald Trump was answering a political question, and he was answering it correctly. He said for years that who the vice president is doesn't really matter politically. Most Americans are voting either for Kamala Harris or for Donald Trump. They're not voting for the vice presidential nominee of either party. Look, I'm absolutely ready to be president on day one. I've been a businessman. I've been a United States Marine. I've been a senator.
Oh, thank you for his service. See, I didn't even know that about him. This is stuff that I do. That's why I said I gotta do my research. I gotta do more research on JD Vance. But I really appreciate him. I thank him for his service. Any of y'all that served, I thank you for your service. I don't ever go past that. When I see somebody, I thank you for your service. I don't care. And what I mean by that, you can be in the Army, you can be a paramedic, a nurse, a doctor, a police officer. I thank you for your service, for real. Definitely, I appreciate you for your service. You watching this? I appreciate that.
Businessman. I've been a United States Marine. I've been a senator. I can do the job, but politically, he's just right. People are voting for Donald Trump primarily.
So why are you out here today then if you aren't necessary to this process?
Well, I didn't say I wasn't necessary to the process. I can certainly make an argument that borders are Kamala Harris has failed the American people, but I think ultimately they're going to be voting either for Kamala Harris or for.
See how they try to they try their best to switch around and try to mess you over. I feel like he handled it really well. Regardless, he's out there because he has a job to do. He's not saying that VPs aren't to do nothing. He's just saying that they're really out there. People, it's speaking the truth. Oh my gosh. How does people not know that? That's what it is. It's speaking the truth. There are people, this is facts. There are people that's out here that, obviously aren't looking at JD Vance. They looking at Trump. I didn't heard people say, oh, I'd rather Byron Donalds. JD Vance in there, it's okay. Trump still, I need Trump still to win. So it's just that. And then people are definitely voting for Kamala. Her VP pick was, I heard about him. We gonna get into that tomorrow. But make sure y'all stay tuned. Got another video dropping. Definitely appreciate y'all. Much love everybody. Let me know y'all comments and thoughts. One thing about it is that Kamala, she does change her accent for her to be raised in Canada. And from what I was told, from Judge Brown that she went to school from first grade to 12th grade in Canada. And for her to now all of a sudden have a Southern accent is crazy to me. And then when she gets around, Indian family, it's a whole different. So come on, y'all. People got to make it make sense. We going to get into that tomorrow, so make sure y'all stay tuned. Make sure y'all stay tuned for the next video, though. Definitely appreciate y'all. Much love, everybody. Catch y'all next one.